Okay, we are once again back on Couch Coach. My name is Kwame. Every single time we bring you nothing but the best in the world of football analysis and every other sport that comes our way. Today I'm joined by the first guys I had on the very first episode of Couch Coach. Sedinam Edmond and Elikim have joined me today, so we'll go through all the major activities that have been happening in the world of football. Remember, we are in the international break, so club football has gone to a halt and international football has taken center stage. But we'll still do the two. We'll do a bit of club football, we'll do a bit of, international football. The Black Stars of Ghana officially couldn't qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. The last time it happened was in 2004 when the famous Jimmy Gatete of Rwanda kicked Ghana out. This time around, Angola made sure that they sank us deep down 6 feet on the ground, so we can't even make an appearance at the next Africa Cup of Nations. We'll try and review that and why our football has gotten to this level. There's a bit from the English national team as well that we'll be looking at, and also in club football, Ruben Amorim, new coach of United, has been speaking, making some very, very bold statements, saying that he, in his opinion, United is the engine of English football. As to why he thinks like that, well, we'll try and dissect that all here on Couch Coach. Let me make a quick turnaround. Remember, it's brought to you by DSTV, *759#. Dial that and then go through the formalities and then get your decoder. If you've not reconnected, you can do that through that platform. Let's make a quick turnaround. When we come back, I'll bring you the guys and then we can, set the ball rolling here on Couch Coach.
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again.
Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Watch all the Premier League, La Liga, and Serie A games on DSTV Compact for only 300 cedis a month.
All right, there. Thank you very much. You're back here on Couch Coach. So, like I told you, I'm here with the guy. Sedinam is here. Normally, Sedinam is here, so I thought he was on my left. Sedinam, great to have you back on the show.
Nice to be
Elikem,
here.
where did you run to since the first episode?
You have to be chasing certain things, so that's how it will be. Yeah.
Great. Charlie, where have you been? We were supposed to start this podcast at a certain time. Now, for about an hour, we were not reaching Sedinam. We thought he had gotten missing. But finally, he's here.
I can't get missing. No. It's not possible.
Who kidnapped you?
Nobody also can. That's the strange thing. I would not like to put my loved ones in that spiral of emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's better to buy than to be kidnapped. Charlie.
But how have you been? Great to have
Good.
you.
I've been stressed, but I've been good.
It's good to be stressed. If Ghana doesn't stress, we all stress.
Oh, not Ghana. But you, how have you been? You constantly have been asking us each and every time.
I've been good.
Yeah.
Very stressed, but I've been good. It's been fine.
Then you to Ghana is stressing you.
Yeah, Ghana is stressing me. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Ghana is stressing me.
I saw your tweets.
All right, let's set the ball rolling, guys. So, let's do a bit of club football. Now, Paul Pogba is returning. Now, the news is that Juventus are on a verge. In fact, they've terminated. They've gone on mutual consent and have terminated the contract of Paul Pogba. As it stands, if you know the story of Pogba, he was taken for a drug test and then he was banned right after that. He went for an appeal and then he won the appeal. He's supposed to come back in March to be able to play football, but from January he can start training with the club. But unfortunately for Juventus, they have other ideas and have decided that they are going to let go of Paul Pogba because they think he doesn't fit into their project. So at the stance now, Paul Pogba does not have a club. Now, what we're hearing is that he's likely to be training with Manchester United. But guys, the Pogba situation, what kind of a player has he been and where does he go from here?
So for Pogba, personally, I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I still feel there's a player in there that we are to see before he exits from his career, finally. However, it now comes down to what he has been doing when he has been away from playing football. Away from playing football, I've seen clips of him staying fit. In fact, fitter than some of the players. There's one school of thought that he's currently fitter than the Ballon d'Or winner. I'm not saying it's out there.
The Ballon d'Or winner is injured.
he's injured.
He's
But
injured.
I have not. I'm not the one saying that.
You are just being mischievous. You make your point. in this way.
So I wonder what he's been doing in his off time. Has he been taking some lessons to try and maybe hopefully become a coach much later in life, or what has he been doing with his life? However, staying fit, I'm happy for him in that stance. Now, coming back to football, there are more opportunities available to him now than they were before his chemistry started happening with his family, and eventually got yanked off a game and then got tested, and whatever happened has happened.
Yeah.
Now there's the Saudi game that's available to him as well. We know what the clout he carries as a player.
Yeah, and he's also a Muslim, so sort of culturally
Solid.
there's that kind of a
It
thing.
ties in beautifully. If he wants to go stateside, now Donald Trump is the president once again, and sports is about to go on a hyper streak inside the US as well. So there's that available for him. If he wants to try the European thing again, for me personally, if I were him, it would be fun to play in Europe, but the scrutiny will be too much. So go elsewhere to go enjoy football and cash out. He needs to cash out as well. Yeah, this time when he's cashing out for himself. No more family intrusion and those kind of things. So for me, he needs to play good football. The Arabian Gulf has Cristiano Ronaldo, so there's quality. Yes, and then the Western side also has Messi, and there's quality. So he should pick one of these two and then just go play some good football.
That's a very interesting one on Paul Pogba. Elikem, but what's your general thoughts? I mean, he's has to go through a lot of situations, and he intended to stay at Juventus, but Juventus, already have other ideas. Do you think he should go to the other sides, or he should still stay in Europe where football is played at the highest level?
Paul Pogba, his situation is interesting, but then I think we are yet to see it. We are still yet to enjoy Paul Pogba before the injuries. And Paul Pogba in his first season at Manchester United was a beast. We need to see that player again, and I think moving to US would help him ahead of the World Cup. Gather that momentum, play, really get eyes on the World Cup. And he's going to be 32 next year. He's 31 now.
he's 31 now.
Going to it's not really maybe at the latter stages of his career, but then I think US will do him some, and he will ball like no. I think the US will really help him, so he should consider that.
Well, we'll see what happens to Paul Pogba. Very interesting player. I watched a few of his interviews, I think with the streamer guy, Kai Senat, where he was talking about, and he has also had a series of interviews with other mainstream media guys where they were talking about, I mean, how people have deserted him. He's no more having that close friends and all of that. Well, that's the real world.
When the money goes
When everything goes down, that's where you know the people that are with you, but it's normal. So we wish Paul Pogba all the best. Well, we hope that whatever plans, whatever teams that he's likely to talk to, works out for him. Vinicius Jr. now still on. He's in fact on this podcast. If there is a player we've spoke about, it's that guy from losing out on the Ballon d'Or till now. Now at Brazil, he seemed not to be finding his feet. What seemed to be the problem? I know Brazil generally have issues with regards to how the whole football ecosystem has been in that country, but what is really happening to Vinicius? It seemed not to be working.
So at Brazil, the dynamics are different. At Real Madrid, as it stands, Real Madrid, from my standpoint, they have a communication gap. They have a star clash that's going on there. So people are stars depending on how they play in 90 minutes. When you go to Brazil, chairman, someone like Endrick can be considered a star. Someone like do I dare say Estavio? Do I dare say Estavio? You see, there are a lot of stars littered around the pitch. It's a star-studded team. We can't do things your way. You have to be a team player in the Seleção to actually be a selected. Do you understand? Now, I feel that it now boils down to one thing. He needs to grow up. Vinicius needs to grow up. There is a boy in every man. But at certain points in time, you leave the boy at home for the man to come out to play. He has been allowing the boy in him. I feel, you see, when you get over pampered sometimes, it ends up in these kind of situations. You are on the pitch to do one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
Perform well. Do not complain too much. I'm not saying do not complain. No.
Yeah.
Charlie, if you come on me hard a tackle, I'll complain. After that, I'll let you go. We shake hands. That is the fair play aspect of the game. But if you forget the fair play aspect and you want to be a lawyer and talk all the talk, then everybody will say you don't deserve the Ballon d'Or.
Absolutely true.
You are the best in your position.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that will differentiate you from being the best on the pitch. These are some of the things he needs to. I know we are talking about his talking and yanking on the pitch, going to try and fight a linesman. It's not worth it. Only for your rival to come and pull you up. How embarrassing is that? He needs to grow up.
Yeah.
He's a good player. We are not saying he's not. He's the best player in his position currently in the world. But other things would make people despite him.
Yeah. But how is it that I mean Brazil are in a very difficult moment in the country's history in terms of their football. All the reasons why many people said Vinicius couldn't win the Ballon d'Or was because of how poor he was with Brazil at the Copa America. What is going really wrong for him at Brazil?
Vinicius, I don't know whether he has ever lived up to his name at the Brazil at the Seleção, because I mean he's played 35 games, he has 5 goals. For a player like Vinicius, we expect more.
Yeah.
He's grown up. He was just 18 years, but for 40 something million, and then he went to Madrid. So from there, like he said, he's sort of being put on a pedestal. And you won't get that at the Brazil. Nobody is nobody. You are coming to die for your country.
Yeah.
From Madrid, maybe you'll be put on a pedestal, you'll be seen as a star man. But no, when you come here, drop all those antics, play ball, just ball. And I can say maybe his Brazil career is underwhelming. I don't know why that's happening. If some people might attribute it to their lack of midfield, their midfielders being a bit distorted. Today is Casemiro, tomorrow is Guimaraes, Paqueta. I don't know what exactly is wrong with the Brazil national team, but then Vini needs to grow up. He needs to drop those antics. Just play. That's all we need from him.
Kwame, quickly, you see, if he wants to be considered the star of the team, he should carry the team
Exactly.
and stop hiding behind the shadows.
That's a very
You can barely
important-
count the games with which
He
this
stood
game
out.
is
Yes.
Vinicius' game.
He stood out. Well, that's it. For Brazil, like the guys have rightly said, I mean, there are quite a number. I mean, people are sort of criticizing the quality that they are showing lately, but Brazil is Brazil. We've seen players who want to be considered the best in Brazil do great things with Brazil. What do? They carry the team on their shoulders. We saw what Neymar do. Neymar virtually was the one carrying the Brazilian national team. His absence is really felt. I mean, if you want us to see the kind of player you are as Vinicius, you need to step up. You need to carry the team on your shoulder. You need to, do far more than you're doing. So it's up to Vinicius. We'll see how that particular issue goes with him and how best he can back himself up. He's still young, 24 years. Still got a lot ahead of him for Brazil. But we'll see. I mean, a lot of criticisms. Let's see how it goes. All right. But still on the national team, I mean, the international break comes with a lot of funny stories and player withdrawals and all of that. And I heard Harry Kane complain about players withdrawing. And one of the key things he said in that interview that I heard was that the national team should always come first before any other thing. And not just England, their twin or their sons in Africa, the Black Stars of Ghana, also had about the same number of players dropping out after the squad had been announced. It's quite interesting, but it throws in a certain dynamic, Sedi. Why? I mean, in the middle of the season, there's an international break. Now there's a bit of a conflict. Clubs wanting to protect their players, national teams also wanting them to be able to advance whatever thing they are doing. I mean, how do you manage all of these things? If you're a player, if you're a coach, or whoever, whether you're a club person or you're a national team person, how do you manage all of these conundrums?
Well, there are different stakeholders in this nice soup, and every stakeholder needs to handle it differently.
Yeah.
As a player, I'm looking out for myself. I play for a big team. We have qualified for the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah.
My summer is gone.
Yeah.
Right from the Club World Cup next year, I'm slotting back into, in this case, Premier League action again. There is hardly break. Well, any bit of piece of space I see, I'll call it a break for myself.
Yeah.
As a player, I need to look out for myself. Now, as a club, I have tried as much as possible to get my injured players fit, only for a national team to come and call them and travel with them and then go and injure them again. No, I am paying them big bucks to play for me and then bring in money. So I need to also protect them. They are my investment. Now, as a national team coach, I want the best stars available to parade in my team. Now I look at them, I call them, they are also not trying to help me also protect my job. So they are indirectly insulting my integrity, which I will not take. As the governing body of FIFA, I want there to be glorious games, stars to be paraded on the pitch every time, so that I can walk boldly to advertisers and tell them, look at the kind of stars I put in the
competitions
the
that
wash
you are playing.
down friendlies they've been playing in Europe. The European Nations League. Yeah, so I'll be able to walk to advertisers. This is the stars I play in this and that and that. But all the stakeholders are now having a go at each other, and that is the cause of
So
what
everyone's seeking to promote their own interest
Perfectly
at one point in time. Yeah.
and that's what we are seeing now. If only FIFA would understand the player's standpoint and also now let go of their own personal rules. When they let go of those rules as well, it's going to bring imbalance into the system of football.
The system.
The entire system. I mean, sorry to say, the financial system. If you live that FPL embargo, the likes of Chelsea will buy 100 players, keep them on the books.
Yeah.
But the likes of Bournemouth cannot buy 100 players and keep them on the books. So it will bring that imbalance. So now what do they need to do? They need to now reduce the number of games somehow. I hear statistics being thrown around. I'm a person of data. You know that thing a lot. But Charlie, some of the data is not deterring. you can say that because Charlie, you tell me, oh, in effect, they are only playing the same amount of games. But now it comes down to frequency.
Yeah.
You are playing every 3 days and you are now traveling as well. You see that it's because of these kind of travels that you go and play a Chelsea versus nowhere and score them 8-0. The guys sat in a bus for 2.5 days. You expect them to perform? No. All the stakeholders need to come to a table and then sit down and understand that, okay, some of the international breaks, in fact, we'll call them international rest days.
So that players can get enough rest.
Yeah, because some of the things
because it looks like every stakeholder is trying to pull to their own direction
Exactly.
how much benefits they are getting. But
Exactly.
let me get to Elikem. I mean, if you're a national team and players are withdrawing, I mean, how do you deal with some of these situations? I mean, I get the point Harry Kane is making. A national team is a national team. I mean, it's a national honor to be called into your national team to play football and all of that. What do you make of it generally?
You see, this to me, it comes down to who pays the piper.
Yeah,
Who pays me the big bucks?
yeah,
And that is what their players are clearly showing. Yes, it's an honor to play for your national team. It's an honor to die for your country, to win medals, to make your people proud.
Yeah.
But then you also have to look at yourself.
yeah.
How many years can you spend playing as a player? You have to know that there's a limit to certain things. You don't use every opportunity to play for a national team. Yes, I get the national team is prestigious. You have to, but then I mean, think of yourself. You can't be doing this forever. We can look at the frequency with which players are getting injured within the past 5 years alone. The games are too much. Now we have increased number of games at Champions League. The Club World Cup new format that's coming has a lot of games. The games are just they
Too
play, and
many
the
for the
players have been.
clubs.
I don't know whether the players their pleas or their cries haven't been heard by, because I know a lot of them have been complaining. People like De Bruyne and the rest have always been saying the games are just too much. The games are just too much, and if the games are too much, maybe a way to go around is to bigger squads, bigger substitutions, but that would dilute the game as well. So there should be a way around this thing, but it comes down to who pays the piper. Harry Kane, yes, one of the patriotic ones, and he will do everything for his country. Some others might also prioritize club football over that.
Yeah.
We can see people, clubs like Arsenal who want to fight for the EPL for in a long time. Someone like Odegaard had to withdraw, and maybe he's hurt, maybe he's not. Partey was not called because the previous one
he had
he
to
declined,
find a way to
and then this
decline
time the coach
has not
dropped
been
him for
called,
tactical reasons,
yeah.
and we are where we are.
Yeah.
So it's a whole conundrum. I mean, they just have to strategize everything properly.
A complete mess.
Hey.
I mean, every stakeholder trying to pull to their own direction and getting the best out of it. But we'll see how this pans out. We'll see how this unfolds as we go forward. But it will still continue to exist. Everyone will seek their interest in the midst of all the difficulty. But let's delve a bit more into club football. New United coach out there granted his first interview with the club's media, trying to explain his vision and what he's seeking to do with the new team and everything. He spoke a lot. He says that United is the engine of English football, in his opinion. Some people are calling it banter material already. Said he.
Yeah,
I don't know if
so-
you've had opportunity to see excerpts of the
Don't
interview.
worry. You know, Amorim is my man. You know, I first of all like how he speaks.
Yeah.
You know, his.
I mean, it's actually one of his
yeah.
his how do you call
Streets,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, his streets. Yes, they said he's
like a
very
poet.
good with yes, they said Ronaldo called
Ronaldo called
him
him
a
a poet.
No problem. He's a poet because he has worked under one of the greatest coaches ever to coach Manchester United, Jose Mourinho. It's going to be very controversial, but it's the truth. He's the last coach to have even gotten United to a better standing ever in their lives. After
It's okay. You make your point.
And an
It's
European
okay.
trophy.
But considering Amorim and what he's saying, I feel he understands where he is, and to say that United is the powerhouse, let me put it that way, of English football, he might not be far from the truth if he added in recent times. Because since the inception of the EPL, we have always known that United were way up there till they decided that it was time they had enjoyed enough to fall off the pedestal. So if he acknowledges the fact that now United are down under, let us face the fact, United are down under, then he'll be able to actually actualize his statements. However, there are certain actors of his statement included. United can be glorified as the powerhouse of English football, but now they are not. There are certain times, we in recent times, the last call-up, there was no United player. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, there wasn't, because the one who would have been called is injured. A few of them.
So it is
Mainly
only
would
one who gets called.
Many
So
would have been called. If Shaw was fit, he would have been called. I mean,
if
these are,
there are always
that's what I'm
ifs and
saying.
buts.
Yes.
Good. That is why we need
But
to
how many English
understand.
players are even there in the first place? Aside Marcus Rashford, who is not being
And he's underperforming.
fantastically well. You've gotten me to my exact point I
So
want
make
to
your
make.
point.
My point is that now they are no longer the English powerhouse. So if he wants to try and consider them as the English powerhouse, then he's going to have to do a complete 360 of the current model that's available to them, and now start focusing on English players. How many English players are there that are that talented, technically gifted, who want to play for this kind of United team? How many are there now? There are very few. So understandably, they used to be, but some of the players in this team will not help him actualize that dream.
Well, that's Dinam's point. But enough of Amorim. Let's make a quick switch to Arsenal. I mean, for the past 2 seasons, the team that has a lot of people have thought or tipped to have won the league or had taken the fight to Manchester City and all of that. But this season, it looks as if there's been a bit of a dip. I mean, generally, what's going wrong with Arsenal?
This season, I think injuries are also not helping them. There have been some injuries.
But the football is not footballing. I mean, you would have expected an expansive Arsenal playing very well. I mean, but they look to be sitting a lot more back. A lot of people are referring to their football as haram ball and all of that.
You know, this haram ball thing, basically your defense wins you titles.
Yeah,
The number of goals you ship in
yeah.
determines the outcome of the game. And Arteta is learning. You can't always be playing expansive football. Even Pep Guardiola sometimes closes shop when he's leading. And Arteta is learning that really, really well. So in some games where he knows let me just give one goal. When I get one goal, I can shut up shop and no one will score. And that is it. I've got my 3 points.
Yeah.
That is what is needed. So yes, we might say they are playing haram ball, they are playing Satan football, whatever. But Arteta is learning. And I still think they still have a long way to go, because just one person, when Edgard was hurt, the team was in disarray. It was just whatever. So I don't know. I personally, I don't know what is wrong with us now, because the decision to even loan Vieira was a puzzle, because and when Odegaard just got hit, the person who could have slotted in would have been Smith Rowe or Vieira, and both were not available.
But Vieira has been quite underwhelming. I mean, it's the reason why they had to loan him. Or
he was not getting game time, so you don't expect him to perform. That's me. That's my opinion. So Arteta, yes, shutting up shop, playing haram ball, it's okay. That's what if you get your 3 points, do whatever. Football is just get your 3 points. That is what is needed. Everything else is back case.
Well, Arsenal. Anyway, you are. When I say it, I'm sure Zoo won't be happy, so you let me keep quiet. Anyway, let's switch to Chelsea. Are you making top 4? Sedinam, your former club or your club? Are you making top 4?
So how do I answer your question? Because you're asking a lot of questions. Which one do you want me to?
Are you making top 4? Are Chelsea making top 4?
Very good, very good. Thank you very much for the question. So Chelsea, in their current state, should they continue this way, they will definitely be making top 4. Why do I say that? I say that because they are able to understand their opponents and fashion out ways to beat them. You listen to Enzo Maresca and he comes across as someone who is not giving you that vibe of I set up in a certain way, I play in a certain way, and I expect to get results constantly playing the way I play. Over the course of the season, they've played in various ways. The only time, personally, with my tactical eye, that I have seen clearly what Chelsea want to play under Enzo Maresca inverting into the midfield with either of their laterals was against Wolves when Madueke got a hat-trick. And after that, all FPL guys have wondered what is wondering. But aside that game, you could that was the only game you could clearly see the pattern. You go to other games, and now instead of getting the lateral to invert into midfield, you are getting the lateral rather slot into a half 10 position, occupying a half space somewhere. So it's constantly changing, and it's making Chelsea look a bit difficult.
Now unpredictable.
Very much so. Every team coming to play Chelsea is going like, okay, these guys are in some form. These guys are in some form. These guys are in some form. And for me, looking at where Chelsea have come from last season, grinding out results throughout the season. Last 2 seasons, at a certain point in time, before they were going to get 33 points because of the rate at which they were drawing. To this point, leaving their very favorite opponent, Manchester United, in the trenches, and they look to have
just
risen
4 points ahead of them.
just 4 points. However, you be playing
mean
teams
by
that
trenches?
No, but you have to
Just
accept
go
you are in the
ahead.
trenches.
Make your point. It's okay.
Thank you. Now, Chelsea are also trying to mix it up with the big boys. When Chelsea played City, they were not far off the mark. They just did not convert their chances. Chelsea played Liverpool. Chelsea, in fact, dominated Liverpool at home. That's the only game that you've seen Ancelotti agitated the entire season. Aside from that game, he has gone back into his calm state. That means Chelsea are doing something right. Really good. They play Manchester United, and they had an off day, yet they were able to come off with a draw. It's beginning to tune in. You see, Chelsea is
So
now
are they making top 4?
from in this particular rate of form and at this stage, and how they are also able to manage their injury situations. I'll say yes.
Well, that's setting on Chelsea making top 4 and all of that. We'll see how it goes. Let's quickly wrap up with the Black Stars of Ghana. Unfortunately, nailed in the coffin. Black Stars are unable to make it to the next Africa Cup of Nations. This is what has happened. The last 3 editions of the AFCON, Black Stars were out in the round of 16. The last 2, they were out in the group stage. Well, somebody will say, naturally, if you're not making it out of the group, then there's no need qualifying at all. Well, it happened. The Black Stars, although were given a lifeline or a slim chance to sort of make things better when Niger beat Sudan by 4-0, still couldn't pick up all 3 points in Luanda when played against Angola. Guys, 3 minutes each. Let's wrap it up. The Black Stars of I know it's not enough time. We've said a lot already, but what do you have to say?
So, with regards to the Black Stars, you mentioned a certain statistics that the last 3 episodes has been difficult for them to get out of the.
And prior to that, those ones, it's been semi-final for about 4 or 5 consecutive times.
Do you want me to add a semi-final? Because I'm about to say something really picky, and
Okay.
if the people at the FA are watching this,
yes.
it should really prick their conscience.
Just say it.
In the last 3 episodes,
Yes.
we were not having 24 teams in all 3 episodes. The moment it became 24 teams,
That's
how
when it began
many
to suffer.
see how many teams are in Africa? 54.
Yeah.
Not all the 54 play in the
So
qualifiers.
close to half of
Yes.
close to
half
half
of the teams
are
in,
supposed to qualify
and be
we
there.
are not
and
there.
you pride yourselves as four-time AFCON champions,
And we are not there.
football powerhouse. Right now, we are football lower house.
And you know the funny thing? We've played 5 games in the
Yeah.
qualifiers and we've not won a single one of them.
Fantastic. And we've conceded.
We've just been considering, just shipping the goods.
Conceded. You see, it now raises the question where did all this start? All this started, for me, when Kwesi Appiah was kicked out because he could not make a certain level in the AFCON. I'm not going to be a Kwesi Appiah fan here. I'm going to speak from the point of a taxpayer, not even a Ghanaian fan.
Yeah.
A taxpayer. Listen, you get rid of Kwesi Appiah for not meeting a certain standard. Then you turn around and bring in a certain coach who also does not meet the standard. You are happy with his performance. Now, you make it look like government interfered and brought in their own coach as well. And then he also did not meet the mark. Now, you also turn around, you have the opportunity to also bring in your coach, and you also bring in a wonderful gentleman who is an ex-Black Star player, but does not seem to, in this current state, understand the workings of the Black Stars. Tactically questionable. People are using words like tactically bankrupt. I will put questionable because at least he's able to put together the players to play on the pitch. So tactics need a small day. But like it's questionable because of some of the decisions he takes on the pitch. Not making the AFCON, we have known this long ago. Personally, I witnessed the Angola Ghana-Angola game in Kumasi, and that was when I knew that it was curtains. That was the game that made us not qualify. Not any other game. Not any of the subsequent ones. That particular game in Kumasi, Ghana versus Angola, when Angola failed to take all their chances and Ghana also decided that they were not going to take their chance, and then Angola said, come on, Pedro Goncalves just told the boys from the bench, guys, let's score one, and they actually scored one. Well, that's it. The Black Stars, I'll not call for what people will say, close down their team. Don't close down
So
any team.
I'll leave that to Elikem. Where do we go from here?
I don't know what to say because I think one is a leadership issue. In any serious FA, I don't even know whether I should be serious, but in any serious FA, the management committee and even the GFA executive would have resigned by now.
Yeah.
What they are supervising is appalling. I don't know how Kurt is happy with this. Going on what do you call it, dinners and blasting the boys and trying to ginger them. It won't get to anywhere. We have a technical directorate. You are looking for a coach with some of the criteria being an experienced coach. But Otoado has not coached any team. You also pair him with Pencil, who basically, when with regards to coaching, zilch. So I don't know what actually the direction they want to put the team in. It was set up to fail from the very start. So going forward, we just scrap everything. The GFA, management committee, Black Stars, coaching squad, start afresh. And then technical directors should be really involved. I think Lipet did a great job or giving us some blueprint to follow. I don't know where that is as of now. Scrap everything and then start afresh, because that's the way forward.
That's what LAKM thinks, that we should scrap everything. That's the way forward. Well, what do you also think? You can leave that in the comments section for us. Remember, if you're able to watch this, it's brought to you by DSTV and also GoTV Super Plus. So get all your decoders if you want to enjoy football. You can only get them from DSTV and GoTV. That's where they get you all the football you want. So it's very, very important that you get your decoder. It's a wrap from us. My name is Kwame. I was here with Sedinam. I was here, and also LAKM. All through it, we've had Zoo, we've had Manfred also joined us. We've had Coach Ken also, and to all the guys in the background pushing everything for us. Thank you very much. And for all of you watching, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.